Are we recording?
I got like a 4.
We've been trying to do this ad for a minute, but everybody keep drinking the water. That's how good
the ad when you drinking water.
It's good.
I think I got enough to last me about 10 minutes.
It'll hydrate your throat.
Corner left.
I won.
You just got.
I won.
You just got
What you win?
Oh.
What you win, bro?
Oh, I thought I was finished. There's still more.
Yeah.
It's eternal.
You did that.
Everybody commercial pose. Commercial pose.
Hold on. Y'all found yours already? That's yours? Tyler been had his. Hold on, this my right.
More Than Culture is the brand. This is the podcast. Come on, the secret genius.
Remo Ride.
Tyler Chronicles.
Ronnie Bird Jordan.
Ronnie Bird Jordan. Hey man, and this is an
Super
special interview. I guess as we normally do, the person that knows the person the longest does the intro. But we all just met this brother today. But
You was talking to him the longest.
yes,
Yeah, y'all did have a power.
Y'all know QT. Y'all know my folks. Shout out to Quarantine Television.
Shout out to Quarantine.
I was on there talking about voting for different people and saying how really the vote for presidential office isn't as
I know I'm gonna cut you off, but can I just say rest in peace, George Floyd.
off top.
Right now, off top. Rest in peace, Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I said the names.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, it's just a lot
It's
of
a list,
yeah, names. It's a lot of names, Tamir Rice. It's a bunch of names, what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Before we get into
Rest in peace to all of them, and prayers up for their families as well, because they're going through a triple, quadruple hurricane right now with the pandemic and maybe even civic unrest and their obviously death in their family, man. Sure. But somebody from QTN, one of the members there was like, "Hey, I know a young black man that's running for Congress. And, you know what I mean? That y'all should get him on your podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, that's perfect, especially for what we were talking about at the time."
Right.
Just so happened, our I don't even know what to call Rod Rose. Let's go with producer for the day. Okay.
Producer for the day.
Our show producer was like, "Yeah, that's my chapter, bro. It's cool. Let's get him in." Also, the way that they pitched it to me is he's for the legalization of marijuana. So I'm like, bet.
Boom.
100,000%.
100,000%.
That's my cousin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive More Than Culture interview with Mr. Barrington Martin. Y'all should
Yes, sir.
Before we get started, man, I want to tell y'all how grateful I am and how much I appreciate y'all for allowing me on y'all platform, man. Like seriously, man. Like I really, really, really am thankful for that, man. So I gotta tell y'all that before we even get started.
For sure.
Appreciate you coming out, bro.
Really love.
So to kick it off, man, a lot of people that watch this show, that they're into politics, but all right, let's keep it real. Most black people are into politics because of Barack Obama.
Absolutely.
That's when you started learning about politics. That's when you started learning about, there's a Congress, and you know what I'm saying? Like you learned in school or whatever. You learned about the branches. You probably forgot.
I'm about to say, I knew that in school before.
Yeah, you knew that in school, but did you remember? I ain't gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah, I did, nigga.
What's the branches?
You're not gonna
Nigga, it's an electoral college that puts anybody.
What's the three branches of government?
Nah.
Okay,
No, yeah, because that was
executive.
You're not gonna come
That
here,
was
man.
his question. He asked
Nigga, executive.
Okay.
Fuck you talking about? Legislative.
That
Ding,
makes sense.
ding, ding.
And goddamn Democratic Party, because that's all the no, this bullshit.
It's always one that's difficult.
You there?
Esthetician, judicial.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
I play basketball, nigga, in jeans. It's okay.
Either way, but
I gotta keep me myself.
so for everybody that's listening that's not as smart as Remo,
thank you.
Can you let them know what I guess the responsibilities of a congressman actually entail?
Oh, it's the legislative body of our government, and basically, I will be making the laws. 100%. Can I give you background on why I chose to run?
Give us whatever you need to, bro.
All right, so all from my working career, I was a paralegal. I'm currently a special needs educator at McNair Discovery Learning Academy, 5th grade.
Nice.
So I've been a paralegal all my life, and then essentially I thought I was gonna be a lawyer, and then I was like, nah.
What kind of law were you in?
Corporate.
Okay.
Corporate. And so, you know, making good money, but that 9 to 5 lifestyle wasn't for me. And then on top of that, I feel like I wasn't making a difference.
Yeah.
So then I decided to go to a grad school, in which I'm in grad school right now, but I took a break and run for Congress to get my master's in African American Studies.
Okay.
At
So
Georgia
then
State.
At Georgia State.
Shout out to Akinyele Umoji.
Facts. Big
Taking any of his
facts.
classes yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
one of
Dr.
my-
Moses is one of my guys.
One of my mentors. Yeah,
Oh yeah, you went to State, right?
I did.
What you got your master's?
Nah, it's just a little bachelor's.
He got his deep voice
Because
from
I know you
State,
went to
right?
Clark too.
Now you got a
I
math.
did.
You got a math.
I did not graduate from Clark though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just up through there.
He got his pull-up degree in Clark.
Hey, that nigga got his up through that degree.
I got my up through that. I got a master's and up through there. For sure.
Hey, I went to Clark up through there too.
Boy,
Hey, you said it. Niggas
nigga,
pulled
up
up.
through there.
I'm looking right
There. Not even there.
Oh man, y'all let the
All
brother.
right, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, y'all good. And so then
All right, we good.
And so then I figured out, I was like, yo, so I probably want to be a professor. And then I was like, that's cool. I do want to teach, and that's what I'm teaching now. But I was like, it's something missing because I always loved the law, and I always
Right.
felt that the law is something that every black man should know. And so then one day, Trump got elected, and all these things started happening, and I was like, it was summertime last year, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run for Congress. And then I was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna run for Congress.
Right.
I can do this. And so then that's when my journey started, and here we are.
That's amazing, bro.
Dope.
That's what's
Appreciate
up, bro.
So with with everything that's going on, I had a personal questions like. So we trying to be professional, right,
Bro,
fam?
to be y'all is
Hey, no. Yeah, I wrote up some questions, right? And I sent them to everybody, and I was like, and normally I'm in charge of segues. So when I was quiet, that's why I got so quiet.
Now you look to the left.
Randy said,
Randy said-
let me try.
You look to the left. I was like, let me have my notes so Tyler won't think I'm not on task.
I was saying these are samples, some stuff that maybe
Right.
jog your mind for questions, guys.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Hold on, but let me ask this for real, because it's pertinent to what's going on, especially being in Atlanta. Civic unrest is what I want to call it. I don't want to call it rioting and looting. So a lot of people are saying, you know, what good can it do? What good can it do? One of my things that I say, what good can it do, is peaceful protests rarely make the news, rarely get tweeted about. When you have violent protests, there's things that end up. Well, first of all, the police agitated it, and I've say started it.
Inciting it, yeah.
But however you want to play with it, either way, you don't get Killer Mike and T.I. don't get a platform to talk to millions of people in the middle of the night without that civic unrest. You know what I'm saying? So now that the civic unrest happens and we have their attention, what do we say? What do we do now that we get the attention? I think that's the missing link between when things like this happen over the course of time. That when we get the attention, you know, without a Dr. King or without a Malcolm X, what happens? What do we need to say? What are our demands? If you know what I'm saying, like we hold hostage, what are our demands?
Okay, so let's rewind first,
All right, let's go
because I
back.
think this is very important to say.
Okay.
First of all, our people, black people, and I would even go as far as saying poor people, have been preyed upon by this system since the beginning of the inception of this nation, right?
Right.
Not to mention, there's so much trauma within our spirits, and it's been generational. So when we get to a time like this, when an event like this occurs, we don't know how to react, you know, because it's so pent up.
Yes.
So essentially, on one end, I'm like, you know, the roosters came home to nest, you know what I'm saying? But on the other end, you don't destroy your own home, you know? So that's the only like beef I have with that. But not to mention, I said this today on all my social medias. I don't want any black people protesting anymore. Like starting tonight, no more protesting. I want us to stay home. And the reason I say this is because it's not us with the violence.
It's not us doing the destruction at all. It's
Right.
skateboarders using skateboards to break windows.
Why would we?
California,
Popeyes burned down, bro.
California,
We don't do that.
At the Patagonia store, people in masks run out with surfboards.
Yeah.
Nobody want shit from Patagonia.
Ain't can't nobody in here surf. If you can surf, get out.
Anybody who wear Patagonia don't get fucked with by the police. That's like
My biggest thing is
That's
they
Chico.
fucked up
I didn't know they had the store.
with the African American
Not civil rights.
Civil Rights Museum. Who the why
know that's
would
not
we
us.
go down there
No, that's not
So
us.
you gotta think about it. So
skipping rocks at the Civil
President
Rights
Trump,
Museum?
That's crazy.
President Trump classified Antifa as a terrorist organization. Mind you, Antifa means anti-fascist. Mind you, KKK is still not classified as a terrorist organization.
That's
So
crazy.
think about this. So just paint the picture for me. So you labeled a group that's really been on the side with the real protesters, which are us. You have a group that's been protecting us, been standing alongside of us or whatever. And you, as the government leader, as the leader of our entire body of government, tell the nation that they are a terrorist or domestic terrorist organization. So mainly what's going to happen from here on out, I feel like, is that when the police are militarized, and it shouldn't even be like that.
Right.
If we are out there, while still protesting, while these militarized police are out there, we're going to be public enemy number one. We're gonna take the brunt of the damages, and this is why I feel like it's important for our people to stay home, so they can be safe.
I can agree with that.
But in the meantime, right now it's the best time for us to come together. And I know we hear come together all the time, anytime a tragedy happens. But when I say come together, we have to possess empathy and compassion for each other more so than we've ever had in life. And the reason I say this is because in black neighborhoods, it's so easy, especially in high crime black neighborhoods, it's so easy to know that your neighbor is getting their house broken into, but you're like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, it's not my house. Yeah, for sure.
We got to change up the whole dichotomy of our culture and our mindset.
Right.
And so another message that I try to beat in people's brains is that there's no amount of policy or legislation that can be enacted that's going to give us the change that we need. Because, case in point, the Civil Rights Act, we got that. Now we can be free, but we still getting killed by cops. The Voting Rights Act, voting rights suppression is still a thing in 2020. So this is why we got to organize, we got to galvanize everybody, and we got to start holding our government officials accountable. But before we do that, we got to hold each other accountable. Like, I care about y'all. This is my first time meeting y'all, but I care about y'all. I don't want nothing bad to happen to y'all. If I was driving along the street, like dead serious, if I was driving on the street and I saw y'all was like having problems with the cops, I'm gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too many times, there's been too many situations where this happens in our culture now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Right.
Get them off me. Stop
Yeah.
fucking
You know what I'm saying?
Filming murders.
So I think it's important to hold our government officials accountable. And the reason I say this, George Floyd didn't have to die. It was a bill called HR 4408, and it was created after Eric Garner had passed away, and it was basically supposed to deal with excessive force. Nothing happened to it. Only maybe like 13 people signed that. So when you know about things like that, and this is what I mean by we gotta hold ourselves accountable. We have to do our due diligence in regards to legislation that's getting passed in the House. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
due diligence though?
That's what I was gonna
well,
ask.
not what it actually means, but like, what would be our due diligence? I was not asking for the definition, but what steps?
No, nigga, we us.
What would you say, like, in your opinion, what is our due diligence?
Okay, so for example, my idea would be, so you take a problem that's going on in your community, right? Or let's say it's not even in the community, let's say it's in the city, so this is a big deal, right? Or in your district. The most immediate thing you need to do is go on the congressional website, congress.gov, and see what bills are either being passed or what bills are being discussed to combat this. And oftentimes, if you put the pressure on your elected official, they have to give you some answers. And if they don't give you some answers, you know how you get them back? Oh, don't vote for them.
Right.
So I think like the most immediate thing that we can do, we got the primary June 9th, and we got election in November. This is how we extend our voice. But like I said, before we do that, we have to be accountable for each other and each other's lives. From here on out, I feel like the police need to be policed. If you driving on the street or if you just witness something, don't just drive past, because at the end of the day, America has taught us that black lives have not had any value. So who has to assess the value on black lives? We do, because we are black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we it's just about like understanding that all the killing, all the stealing, all the robbing, when the world is already against you, when the world is already showing you how they feel about you, why do you still have to have some type of animosity towards your brother or your sister? That's asinine. That makes no sense.
Like you
know
said,
what I'm
though, it's genetic, though.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, that those chains have to break. Those mental chains, those spiritual chains have to break. You said something very important today on your live stream, and the biggest point I wanted to make was saying that is the median age for Congress is 65 years old. Senate is even higher. The median age for America is like 35. Look, like the people who are in charge of us were probably like with their parents watching people get hung.
Come on.
And being cool with it, like whatever.
Yeah.
So now they're making the rules for us, and so that goes on to this too. How dare us feel like our oppressor is going to make anything better for us?
Right.
If I go in your house and steal something from you, if I take your house from you, and you, hey man, can I just get this back? What you think I'm gonna say to you?
Hell no.
Bro, no, this is what I do. I take stuff.
So at what point in time do you have to realize
Gonna
that?
say this nigga that ain't yours?
No more.
This mine, nigga. What is you talking about?
What bike?
That's my bike, nigga.
Facts. So essentially, it's really like it doesn't make sense to continue to try to change people that aren't going to change.
Yeah,
like
Kamal was talking about that on live
like
the other day.
racism is a mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Because it does not
It has
make
no
sense.
reasoning.
It does not make sense. It's not logical.
That might be how they get it.
I was saying that too.
Mental illness.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That you can't have a real reason to hate someone that you don't know. There's no real reason to do that. So, so you have an opinion about something. In order for me to change your mind, learn in the debate class, I gotta attack your reasoning.
Facts.
Now, if I can attack your reasoning and change that, I'll make a win the argument. If a person don't have a reason for hating you, you'll never be able to change that because you can't attack the reasoning. So we're trying to get people to reason with us that don't see us as human beings.
Right. So once again, you gotta think about it. Again, we went through slavery, right? Went through antebellum days, then we went to the civil rights movement. We got so many liberties and freedoms that we've never had before, right? But yet and still, the same things are to continue to occur. And yet and still, we're like, hey guys, you don't have to do this. Please stop. They're not gonna stop. So what's the next best thing to do, bruh? We gotta get together. Like we can't. Like I can't be fighting you no more over petty stuff.
Right.
And this is what I said on Tyler's Live as far as getting together, because this this system is working as it's designed to.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are no flaws in the system.
Not at all.
Like so we're approaching it as if we're going to correct a flaw in the system, and they're looking at us like, my nigga, this ain't no flaw.
Yeah.
This system is
That bitch
flawless.
well oiled.
It's working as it was intended to work.
It's working like
So you know what I'm saying? If we continue to approach it as like we gotta fix this, we gotta fix this when it's not broken, what I think that we need to do as black people is separate ourselves within this system. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Target an area of the country, like the Southeast, and let's have a mass exodus of black people to make it their focus and their goal to move as many black people to this area as we can. Let's take over Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina. Let's take over the Southeast.
Okay.
And
Every elected official is us.
Let's have all the black money move to these areas. Right. Let's buy up this land. Let's become
Put all 32 NBA teams in them states.
Let's become the dominant, the majority of the population throughout these regions, so that we control local offices, we control congressional offices. We get, if it's 8 states or however many states, we get those 2 senators per states that we know that we control, and then that region becomes different. You know what I'm saying? Like, we control the law making within that region. We control who's getting voted in. We're voting in judges, we're voting in DAs, and then we start to see a difference in the region that we control. If we keep trying to attack this system the way that we are, which is segmented, which is everybody's attacking from different areas of the country, this shit is going to continue the way it is.
You can't fix it, you gotta build it.
That's how they built it, to work like that. You know what I'm saying? So if we want an opportunity to control our fate within the system that has been created to control us and to keep us at a certain tier, then we have to reconstruct it. You know what I'm saying?
You read Marcus Garvey?
I'm familiar.
Marcus Garvey wanted to do something like
Yeah.
that. So I feel you on that. That's a possible solution. The thing is, like, I'm never pessimistic about anything because I feel like anything can work. Just like how a lot of my policies, a lot of people like to hit me over the head, like, oh, how are we gonna pay for this? Well, the Fed was giving out $1 trillion to our government every day while the beginning of this pandemic, like this, they were just printing the money like it's not nothing.
Just like for the wars.
Yeah.
Printing money for every war that we need
It's
had to
always
be
a solution. You know what I'm saying?
The net
Always
is
a solution.
always
capped. The national debt is capped.
Yes.
Yeah, so like it's always a way to do something, but I just think that we have to organize, we have to galvanize, but we have to change the entire mindset of how we deal with each other in a community.
Right.
But just not just within us, and this is why I feel like this is how Trump won, because his campaign manager was a genius, because he understood that your votes weren't coming from the city because the city is too diverse. Your votes is going to come from everywhere outside the rural areas. That's how he got the electoral college. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, we as a people we have to be smart. We have to start working smart. It's a reason they killed all our leaders in the 60s.
Yes.
It's a reason they did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a reason they put their thumb over us. Now we're embarking on a political revolution, renaissance. I like to say renaissance more so than revolution, because when we think revolution is violence, and I don't want to promote violence, but at the same time, I'm not docile either. I'm about protecting mine. I'm about fighting back if need be. But if we can move forward without causing violence, I'm all for it, because it's how it should be. I lost my train of thought.
Nah, it's all,
That's
you know,
all
I was
good,
gonna
bro.
say
We
too,
got
with
questions.
with the
I want to be in it.
what you were saying about the leaders and how they take away our leaders. It's also been weird to me a little bit that some of these people that have been murdered by the police, when you find out their social media, you start looking at it, you kind of see that they were an activist before this happened, like your Sandra Bland's, and now they're showing George Floyd, not so much an activist, but you used to just get on there and be like, man, y'all got to stop doing it, stop all this killing, you know what I'm saying? And you see that through a lot of people, so it's like, hold on, this almost seems assassination-like.
Right. You know what they do too? Anytime someone black gets killed by the police or just murdered in general, just next time, well, I hope this is not next time, but we can stop it. We can stop it now. But anytime someone dies or gets murdered, Google their name and then write arrest record or type arrest record, type mugshot, because the media wants to demonize us in the same breath.
Yeah.
Because
They'll
that's
assassinate
why,
your character.
Yeah, they want to assassinate your character because they have to. It's all for ratings, but at the same time, like.
Oh, they love that picture of Trayvon with his middle fingers up.
You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, man.
That's ridiculous. They love to put that picture up, like, look at him, gold teeth, middle fingers. Like, wait, he's a child.
Yeah, man. So this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why we got to hold each other accountable in every facet of the way, including our entertainers as well. A lot of people don't like. And Malcolm X said this a long time ago, and he was true about this. We're the only people that allow our entertainers to speak for us on a political basis, even without any type of knowledge or any type of work in the community.
Right.
No whites do that. No Asians do that. No Hispanics do that. No one does that. But we do that. We gotta stop doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because oftentimes, we had no money. We get no money, but when we need their platform for them to step up, where they at?
Silence. Don Lemon went in on everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where y'all at? Y'all need to help these kids.
You know what I'm saying?
They're worried about their brand.
They are worried
That's
about
what's
their brand.
happening.
Absolutely.
That's
What about
what's
that
happening.
paper? Then on top, their handlers are probably like, you better not say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we
You
got
doing
some
it.
white money waiting for you.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah, and you was talking about the media, and I just wanted to again reiterate that, like, one of the focuses of the media since its inception, like since the printing press was invented,
Control.
since newspapers have been circulated in America, has been like the mythologization. That's probably not the correct form of that
It's
word.
not, so don't worry about it.
Of the black man, you know what I'm saying? The
yeah.
criminalization of the black man, like all the way back to the 1906 riots in Atlanta. There was race riots in 1906, right?
Yeah.
Were started by what was then the Atlanta Constitution, the newspaper. They printed this article about, I forget, and I don't want to be historically inaccurate, but
That's America, though. You can do that.
they printed an article that was about the some crime that had happened.
Okay.
And on the cover of the newspaper was a caricature of a black man, like big lips, burly, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was the person that committed this crime, and they plastered it all over town. And then these mobs started to form of these people looking for this man, and they went through all the black neighborhoods and fucked shit up and burned it up, and it started a race riot in the city. And it was because of this propagandist article that the Atlanta Journal or the Atlanta Constitution had run. And so the media has been doing that forever. You know what I'm saying?
Now, when you see
That's
a white
what-
lady come out of the
that's what they do.
store with something, it's like, I'm not clear what she's doing.
Is she working there? Like,
Yeah.
it's closed. First of all.
That bitch got 6 bags.
Right, and ain't had no top on
It's
it.
unclear what she's doing.
That bitch ain't put no top on the cake.
Did you see the white woman spraying BLM and the cops just looking at her like,
Yeah,
go
it's crazy,
ahead.
man.
Yeah.
Telling her what
On
to
the
do.
building?
Yeah.
So I read into that. They said she owned the building. But this is what killed me, though. So,
Insurance, for insurance.
This is what killed me, though. So imagine the cops looking at that, and somebody who looks like us goes over there and do it, and they would have got banged up.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like it's something more sinister that's going on with all of these riots.
It is.
And
It is.
like it's not being stated. I watched the governor of Minnesota speak yesterday, and he was talking about how they found out, and even here, our police chief said that a lot of people that got arrested were from Chicago. The governor of Minnesota stated that a lot of these white nationalist, white supremacist groups are getting together and even joining up with, black supremacist groups and saying, "Hey, we're gonna cause trouble because what's gonna happen is you're trying to create a lawless aura, which would then turn into martial law.
Right.
We don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Right.
So-
That's definitely.
They
That's
want
why
to
black
race war,
technology
man.
is out, and you can.
The
black people
alt-right
are like,
want-
"Yo, that's
they
not
want
us."
race war.
Like, we're
Right.
seeing
That's what
it.
they want.
Yeah.
I saw one. They showed a guy. They zoomed in on his pocket. You can see the cuffs in his back pocket. You can see his earpiece.
Yeah, I saw that.
Vest.
Yeah.
But like everybody got a phone now, so it's like we are. I
Like,
think
we see you.
it's
There's a
dope.
lot of undercovers in New York that were wearing like
man.
white armbands,
Like,
and they kept showing that. It was like you see somebody with a white armband on, they probably undercover, but they was the same people, knocking like.
That's why I want us to pay attention to history, man, because none of these tactics are new.
No.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
None of this
none
shit's
of these
new.
tactics are new. These are the same things that they did to disrupt the movement in the 60s. You
Yeah,
know
but
what
I
I'm
think,
saying?
like Ronnie was saying, the more you see it, I think this is the first time in at least our lifetime that it seems like people outside of black and brown community are legit fed up with how police treat people in general.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not.
But that's what
I
happened.
think it was mostly us that been
Huh?
mad. I don't think nobody.
No,
I-
I'm
so-
saying
yeah, so-
that is how the Civil Rights Act of 1968 got passed
Right.
because they started showing people
What's
getting
going on.
hosed and
Emmett Till
people
and
getting
whatnot.
dogs
So
put
there's
on.
three types of white people in my idea. White people that like black people, white people that hate black people, and white people that don't care either way about black people. Whatever happened.
Whatever.
I think all this stuff that they've been seeing has brought the people that didn't care about us, no matter what happened, onto our side.
Absolutely, because this is the
Right.
thing. This is the thing. Like for so long, the coronavirus itself the pandemic, has totally removed the veil from our country. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is it shows us the truth about this nation. So
Facts.
now everybody else is getting a chance to understand what we've been feeling like since forever.
Welcome to the struggle,
You know what I'm
nigga.
saying? Hey guys. So that's why
You can't
like
do this, you can't do that. You gotta do this.
so that's why I realized this a long time ago that it's not just a racist problem in the country; it's a classist problem. Like
sure.
the system
that's-
preys on poor people,
Period.
and it just so happens that based on the numbers alone, who are the poor people? Us. Case in point, Atlanta is a 60% black district, right? 30%, almost 30% is in poverty. Most of that 30% is us, but yet the median income here is like $53,000. Who's making that money? A lot of people ain't making that money like that. A lot of black people. Let me say that.
Yeah, North Fork to South Fork.
The divide in Atlanta is
It's a clear divide.
is like greater than most places, probably anywhere in the country.
Absolutely.
Especially top 10 markets.
Absolutely. So that's why it's interesting that a lot of people think about Atlanta as like a black mecca, and as far as aesthetic, it is. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the poverty and things of that nature, you're like, oh man, what's going on there?
Just drive all the way through Georgia.
Huh?
Just start from South Carolina and drive all the way through
What's the
Georgia and
street?
keep looking inside of the cars. You'll see the difference.
It's a few streets where you can start and be
It's
in one
every street.
space.
Like there is a
And then continue,
I
and you
forget
in
the
a
name of the
whole-
book. It may not be a book. It may be a documentary. Or something.
Another vibe.
But it talks about how the two Atlantas. You know what I'm saying? And it's so intentional that there's a dividing line in the city.
Yeah.
Ponce Leon.
Yeah.
On one side is the black side, one side is the white side. At Ponce, streets names change.
Right.
Because white people didn't want to live on the same street as black people.
Yeah.
Like we'll live on the same physical street, but we can't have the same address.
Right.
So like you'll see that Moreland changed to Briarcliff.
Yeah.
Boulevard changed to Monroe. Like all of these major streets, as soon as they hit Ponce,
Switch
they
over.
become another street because, and it's even and it wasn't just black people, it's Jewish people as well.
I used to be like, yo, why is this happening?
Like there are Jewish streets like in that same little area. There was like
absolutely.
that, and as soon as they hit Ponce, the name changes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow, damn, that's a bar. Did not know that. So I do want to get into your platform in a minute, but to kind of staying on this this subject. So everybody's kind of good at throwing out possible solutions. I feel like I got somebody sitting in front of me that could maybe help answer one of the solutions that I have, or maybe help me
Let's
kind
go,
of
baby.
tinker
I'm
and
with
work it
the
around.
solutions.
So here's one of the solutions I have. The main thing the people are upset at. Somebody posted the other day that said 4 arrests could have stopped thousands of arrests. You know what I'm saying? If you had arrested those 4 police officers, there wouldn't have been no civil unrest. Everybody would have been like, all right, that's what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
So you have that happen. I'm trying to say this. I think people are. Well, I know people are really upset because these police officers are murdering people. It's on tape. You have clear evidence, and then they're walking.
Okay.
That's the main thing. The reason they're walking is because they are being prosecuted by the same people that have to help that same police department. He might have to help that actual officer on a case. And if he prosecutes this officer to the fullest extent, he gets life in jail. You think any of the other officers are going to help them? I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Right.
So my question is, can there be some way, because I feel like all these are capital murders, all types, I mean, not capital murder, these are all offenses that can be taken to the Supreme Court if a police officer kills somebody. Could there be a team of special prosecutors that have nothing to do with working in these people's states or any of that, and they can really, really prosecute and get these people put in jail, and that would stop it? If a couple of dirty, racist cops see a few cops do life in Gen Pop, I believe they'll stop.
Absolutely, but I think ultimately we have to have a reform on all levels. The problem you described is think about it as like a parasitic arm of a huge parasite, of like an octopus or something.
Got
right?
it.
So in 2005, the Supreme Court ruled that it was constitutional that the police are not obligated to protect you. The Supreme Court, and this is 2005. A lot of people don't know this.
I did not.
So think about it. So once again, it's not just a problem with the police, it's a problem with the whole system.
Period.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say.
This is why I feel like it's important for, I think it needs to be mandatory for police to wear body cameras.
Yeah.
But
they be getting away with it on body cameras.
Yeah.
They have body cameras.
They cut them off.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, boss. I think it's important for, I personally feel like that police should not be policing areas they're not from. Because I feel that, when you put the badge, let's say you lay your head down, you're at home, and this is a neighborhood that you police, when you put that badge on and you do something, your community, when you take the badge off, they're going to come see about you. That's very important.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there needs to be a federal arm of the government that is like strictly for handling police issues.
Period. That's the only
Internal affairs for that.
Yeah, strictly handle police issues, because what we're seeing is that on a big scale, on a macro scale, the police is not meant for us. And I just tell you why in 2005, but just looking at it aesthetically alone, police is not for us. They're meant to protect the people with the money.
Well, the concept of police is
police were invented
they
to
were invented
talk
to
about
keep motherfucking black people.
Period.
Just like everybody responds to punishment. Everybody, like that's the, I don't know what it is, Pavlov, whatever the fuck it is, but everybody responds to punishment. I'm just trying to say, if police only really he's on that guy's neck for 2 minutes, and he thinks to himself, this could get me life in jail. You think he don't get up? No, I'm saying, if he, 2 minutes in,
Okay.
he thinks to himself, damn, I just seen 5 cops go to jail for murdering a black guy. Let me get up. You don't think that going across his mind?
He might even put his knee on his neck
at all
to have that. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
So that we gotta find what. So you say we need to have our own legislative arm. Is there a way to do that? I mean, how do you even get that done?
You have to demand it. Like it's like the reason these things continue to happen and these things won't change is because we don't speak up about it. And that goes back to me saying we got to keep our elected officials accountable.
Yeah.
If we were just like, you know, storming mad and say, hey, Congressman, Mayor, like, what's up? Like, we need this and we need it now, because every other community do it. We don't do it.
So I've been saying what I just said on live a lot, and because I'm like, oh, we got to give solutions. So I do that, and somebody actually just sent me a video of Governor Cuomo in New York, basically saying the exact thing I said. He was like, we got to punish these cops, and how you expect cops to get punished by somebody that they work with every single day.
They need to be severe.
Yeah.
Because what I learned about punishment through like philosophy, punishment is not to harm the person that did the punishment. It's supposed to keep youth and us from wanting to do it.
Yeah, that's like if you black, if anybody black that grew up with other brothers and sisters, you already know, bro, don't do that because we all gonna get a whooping.
Facts.
Don't you? Or cousins, don't even matter. Like if your cousin did something, every kid in the house getting a whooping.
Everybody getting in trouble. And
so you look out.
That same mythology needs to be applied, you know, to the authorities and things of that nature.
For sure.
Well, my mom was a cop, so she kind of was like, she debriefed us every time we went to, like, just like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do.
Absolutely.
Don't give up no extra information. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I got pulled over so much, I was calling my mom when I got pulled over. We just leave the phone right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like, we're kind of.
Yeah, do we have with that?
Do we have a hotline or something like that where you could, like, if you feel like if you pulling up, if you got pulled over and just lay the phone there, or you're getting like representation, like, all right, he's going to ask you A, B, and C.
Bro,
stay calm.
I wouldn't mind an app. I wouldn't mind an app
sure
with
you have
a police pullover app, and you sit in your car behind me, and we talk about it through our phones. And if I got a warrant or something, you hit me up and say, hey, yo, don't run. I'm about to come get you because you got a warrant. I'll be like, all right, yeah, you got it. Pull up. I'll follow you.
You better do my update.
But like, I think there definitely should be something in place to actually, for both sides, to lessen the contact, especially on pullovers, because that's where most of these things are happening. To lessen the contact between the police and people, because I'm sure some cops, especially good cops, would rather not pull up on somebody with tinted windows at night, not knowing what's going to happen when that window roll down. I'm sure they will be like, yeah, I'm cool with not doing that.
The way we get questioned before we get, you know, the discernment that the white person gets.
The where are you headed is crazy.
The where you headed is like none of your fucking business. I should be able to say that, but like I've been on the road so much.
That shit is
it's
crazy.
Like I said, I stopped counting it 100 times getting pulled over. No fucking.
We got pulled over together 9 times on the road together in 3 years, no tickets.
3 years. I've been on the road 17 years. So
This doesn't matter. I'm just curious. What kind of car you have?
when I was
Reynolds.
doing it, I had a van. I had a GMC Savannah.
Oh, we rent white cars, Pacificas.
Yeah. For sure.
They be like, do you want a Charger? Fuck no, ma'am.
Yeah,
Don't give me no Charger.
I learned my lesson. 1 year I had a Tahoe. I had this is like 05. I had a 02 or 03 Tahoe. Robin Big was out. Remember that shit? So I blacked my whole Tahoe out. It looked like a police truck. I had the white boy tires, all this shit. So I was getting pulled over so much in that motherfucker because they would just want to see in it.
My cousin, obviously black, was married to California Highway Patrolman who's white, and he used to tell us, hey, look, don't get no Chargers.
Yep.
Don't get that Magnum.
Crown Vic.
And don't get the old police cars.
That's my mom when we got shot for cars when I was younger trying to buy my own car. You're not getting no Capri.
Yeah, on the West Coast, we don't really rock with Crown Vics like that, so he didn't bring that up. But he was just saying that to say, like, they have us on alert kind of on some profiling shit for those cars, let alone who's in it. Like, they have us on profiling shit for those cars, so
that's
don't
my
get
first time riding with Shawty. Hey, ain't nobody wearing no goddamn hats in them motherfuckers.
Right, put your hat on your lap.
Shawty be like, take your goddamn hat.
Don't look black in my car. It's real.
That's like crazy.
See,
Don't be yourself in the vehicle
in my
you
car.
You can't be comfortable in your own skin.
In your car.
So
Paying a note on it.
my father is a criminal defense attorney.
Dope.
And has been for almost 40 years now.
Okay.
Since before almost 42 years now. Since before I was born. And so, like, coming up, we got just the bare bones of, like, okay, so it came out in the case in Gwinnett County that there's a document circulating that's telling them what kind of cars to pull over. Wow. It's like old cars. If there's more than one person in the back seat.
And it was everything niggas do with their cars. if you see a cutlass in the grass,
yeah, it was a whole list of things of ways to identify black cars without saying
black cars.
A car that's driven by a black man.
Oh yeah, that's white T-shirt and jeans.
And so like every time probably from the time I was 9, 10 years old, like anytime I had friends over, like anytime it was more than me and my brother in the house, like my father would be like, all right, y'all come in here, sit down.
Hell yeah.
It's like I wouldn't, like I'm talking about to the point where we used to hoop at my house in college on Sundays. Everybody would pull up. And every Sunday, like, oh, you ain't been out here before, come here, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, and he would say, like, I just want, like, y'all the young black men, I want y'all to know you have a target on your back. Like, these police are trying to put you in jail. It's a game to them. Yeah. And if you don't know how to play the game, you will be in jail.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's
Father's super dope for that, man.
Oh yeah, like that, and that's like, I mean, I remember I was probably 12 years old. Me and my pops was going through a roadblock, and his registration was in the glove box. He had a pistol in there too. So he told me, he was like, he said to the officer, it's in my glove box. But then remember, I'm sitting in the passenger seat. Then remember, he had a gun in there. So he said it's in the glove box. Instinctively, I just go to reach in the goddamn glove box to pull the shit out and see the gun in there. And you know what I'm saying? Like at this point, because he has fucking coached me and guided me as how fucked up police are, like I see the gun, but I completely ignore it. Just kind of move around that shit and pull the thing out, hand it to him, and he was like, after we pulled off, he was like, son, so you got ice in your veins, man.
Yes, sir.
I was like, yeah, man, that's how we were raised to know that when you encounter police, you have to know that they are trying to fucking do you some harm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, have to know.
Yeah, we know them better than we know them, than they know themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I think that like black people in general over a period of time has understood. You know, like you get pulled over by the cops, he already nervous. Like,
Period.
Nervous for it.
Why are you shaking, bro?
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. Think about if it was somebody that lives in your community. Everybody gonna be chill at that point in time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think that's very important.
Very important.
So
and you allow the community to hold them accountable themselves.
That's very important.
I've seen cops like that are from the neighborhood and pull up and be like, what the fuck y'all doing out here?
What y'all doing? Y'all trying to hoop?
Y'all trying to hoop? What's going on?
And it's different when you know people.
It's different.
Bro, the crazy shit
Or
is,
you know their mom or Lisa something like, boy, get your ass in the house. I know your mama.
I got
put a
pulled
human
over
connection
in front of my
I
auntie
got a
house.
question off of that.
Yes,
so
okay.
with the
Remo was in the middle of it.
That's all good. No, you have a question off of that. You better off that question.
No, I just know you say you're for the legalization of marijuana.
Absolutely.
But are we amending the bills to include minority like growers? Because it's like it's $1 billion industry that we get shut out of. Like we're the ones going to jail for this shit. But when it comes here, because I think it's coming to Georgia, they let CBD go.
It's about to be legalized in Virginia.
Dog, it's coming here.
Come on
and
down.
It's gonna be
The
weird.
Commonwealth is worse than here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, are there any legislations or amendments to the bill that includes minority owners or operators of the marijuana?
When that happens, when they
Great
legalize
question.
it, they need to be. I feel like at least, or if I was in Congress, I would draft bills specifically for businesses, for minorities, for that specific purpose. Because I forget the specific stat, but basically, white people have totally like.
Dominated.
Like just
It's in the
grab
90
the share,
some
just
percent,
grab
like
the
almost
share
97.
of majority of not even majority, most to all marijuana businesses. Meanwhile, when we try, whatever, get out of here, and of course, we get institutionalized, force things like that. So I want to do a multifaceted bill, not just for the criminal justice system, but mainly for business owners. That way, a lot of minorities, black people, whoever is considered a minority, mainly black people, are able to get their hand into that business business as well.
Yeah, I think San Francisco, not the whole state of California, but San Francisco specifically, I don't know if it's on the county side or the city side, they specifically designated a certain number of the licenses
Permits.
to people, to minorities
So
with
it's like
Yes.
5 million or some crazy.
with marijuana convictions.
Yeah.
First they released like 67,000 people, or not released, but cleared the records of like 67,000 people retroactively.
That's right.
And then a certain percentage of the licenses or the permits are reserved for minorities with marijuana convictions.
Okay, yeah.
That's dope.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, we often look at, we want equality, and I get, because we've been programmed to think that we need equality, but equality is not what we're looking for. We're looking for equity, and so and equitable opportunities.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if you're going to give out, you know, this much to this group, then, you know, everybody needs to have that same opportunity, or at least make it easier for us all to have those same opportunities. So that's what, like, those are the type of bills that I would want to like implement in Congress, because if you just look at just like our progress on a wide scale, there's equality, but there's no type of equity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
That's
not
a part
right.
of equality.
Yeah, and that's a part of freedom. That's a part of liberty. That's a part of liberty. That's a part of all of that. You know?
If it ain't equal, if we ain't at the table getting
Come
money
on,
with
man,
the
talk
white
your shit.
folks,
Right.
the fuck?
That's
I
real.
read it, like you said,
Period.
like you were saying, like we need to, if police fucking with somebody, we need to pull up, like what's going on. I've had those moments where it's like, I mean, I was coming out the movies, me and my wife, my son. I think they were back inside, and I saw this cop just fucking with this young dude. He had his daughter with him. He was like, "Give me your ID," like just for no reason. He's like, "Man, I'm with my kid," and I walked up and I was like, "Nigga, you got an eighth on you. Let me get nigga, let me see."
Let me walk on by.
Yeah. So it's like, we want to. It's like,
This is the
some
thing.
PTSD medicine.
No, I get it. I get it. We can't be afraid, though. We can't be afraid. Our ancestors, like our great grandfathers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, put their life on the line. You know what I'm saying? For us to even just be able to have the freedoms that we have right now. So now it's time for us to do the same thing for the next generation. Because I don't have kids, but I don't want my kids to grow up watching TV and they're like, "Dang, he look like daddy. He just like got murdered on TV."
Right.
Like, absolutely not. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we're exposed to so many traumatic like images, and everybody else is like whatever, and it's not fair. It's not okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like we have to do the work in house first, because everything externally isn't going to change because it's been that way.
Right.
So in order to make those necessary changes, we got to change how we interact with each other. We got to change, you know, how much we care about our communities. We see something wrong, man. You got to speak up, because the moment you let something fly, somebody's gonna do the same thing to you.
Right.
Car get broken into, you like, dang, they like, oh man, that's messed up. Your car got broken into, but then on the back end, they like, well, my car.
My car.
Right.
That's
You know
us.
what I'm saying?
That's how we do it.
Hey, we on live right now. We got a few questions. What committees or committee would you sit on if you was elected?
Oh man, the Ways and the Means committee. Man, that's a great question. It's like so many committees I would be on. Ways and Means is important. Because we're in Atlanta, I need to be on a committee dealing with infrastructure, because I feel like our roads should be better. If MARTA should be way better than what it is.
Bro,
I
them
want
roads
to.
ain't
One of my policies is a Green New Deal, and I'm not necessarily for like specific things within like a lot of my colleagues who promote specific things, but one of the main things I think that our country should have is a nationwide rail system, like how they have in Europe. Yeah. That way you can reduce emissions, you can reduce the usage of carbon emissions, plane usage, driving, you know, and then we have, like, our landmass isn't that big like Europe, so imagine if you can get on the train in 2 hours, you'll be in LA. You know, and then it's economically
Athens to
efficient.
Healing, I think that's
You know, economically efficient, but Ways and Means, something with infrastructure, and it's I knew that question was going to be asked. It's too. If it comes to me, it's so many. It's so many.
That's cool.
Tell them to follow his page. I'm sure he got it on there.
So I got a question. No, go ahead. Mine is ridiculous.
Just because on the bare bones level, because a lot of people like T.I. and Killer Mike kind of, they talk political, and then they say when people ask them who they should vote for, they start saying the person that has your local interests at heart. But just honestly, it's Trump or fucking Biden, and we don't fuck with neither one of them. But my community I'm afraid that we're gonna be like, fuck that shit and not go nowhere and Trump's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to back this fool. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's saying it though. Like, nobody's saying that eventually we're gonna have to vote for Biden.
Yeah, no, you better be saying it. 'Cause shit, Trump ain't the one.
Okay. So this is how I see it. So think about it like this. Say you order steak, you can't just eat the steak, right? You can't just put it all in your mouth, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Gotta cut it down. You can't talk food analogies with the king.
Debatable.
And that's the podcast.
How many ounces of steak?
All right, so we're playing baseball.
First question: what cut of steak is it?
Is it medium?
Okay, so basically I'm saying this, so a lot, like, first and foremost, we got to, I have to say this because I don't believe in voting for the lesser of two evils. I hate that. And a lot of times when a presidents are elected, we're basically choosing a stab wound or a gunshot wound, and it should be neither. So, but we're in special circumstances because we got to get 45 out of office. This man just said today that told governors they were being too soft on the protesters.
Right. When he just was saying they shouldn't go hard, they should go hard. They shouldn't have been going so hard on the white people that were just protesting.
Oh, those are fine people.
Those are fine people.
When I ain't talking about the fine people, the racists he was talking about, I'm talking about the white people that was tired of being in the house and wanted a haircut and was bringing the ARs to the state house and shit. Right. He was like, y'all need to just be easy on those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just
he needs to be out of office because for a commander-in-chief, he's inciting violence against his own citizens, which is ridiculous. So that's the first step. So steak, little piece. When we get that out, now let's say we get Biden in office. Now we have the leverage, or we have the flexibility to maneuver the way we need to maneuver. Because, like I said, 45 is the first thing a lot of people want to do and get out of office, and I understand that. But then when we get a better president in that respect, now we have the time, and we have we will accumulate the resources to be able to okay, this is what we need to change. This is what we need to change. This is what we need to change. Because the next 4 years, now we should be having a different conversation. Now it should be all right, now is this person going to really do what we need to do for everyone?
Right.
You know, we need to give ourselves the leverage to make better choices when it comes to the president.
For sure, and we need some better people running that got some power.
Good God, he said if you ain't black, if you don't vote for him, it's like,
bruh, he was right, man, but he can't say that.
You can't say that shit.
What you doing, dog?
It's like it seems strategic for us to not vote.
He's better off just pulling a Kanye. Hey, yo, Trump don't like black people, so if you vote for him, you wildin'. That would have been a much better way to say
Trump
it.
Clearly
Trump
shows he don't fuck with y'all.
Yeah, honestly, you don't vote for me, cool, but if you vote for Trump, you tripping.
I mean, I ain't gonna be real. Because that's been uttered before. It wasn't a big deal. I just felt like you can't say that on a stage like that.
No.
You're not supposed to say that. So I felt like he was wrong. But at the end of the day, I just didn't like how a lot of white commentators were telling us how we should feel about that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that
They love to do that.
I really get disappointed in a lot of people who call themselves political commentators and things of that nature. Because oftentimes what they do is they look at blackness like a monolith, and it's not a monolith. It's different types of black people.
We are way diverse, man.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's not right for them to do that at all.
Right.
And so he was real when he said it, but he just shouldn't have been said on a national platform like that.
You gotta read your crowd, man. As a comedian, from one comedian to another orator.
He's senile, man.
Read your audience.
No, he seemed like he didn't even want to do it though. That's
Did you see the video when he farted on
No.
Oh no! He farted.
I missed that one, man.
And that's what I'm saying. And we hated on Bernie. Do you feel like Bernie would have had better solutions than
Bernie's platform was amazing. However, I really don't agree with socialism, especially being a black man, because I feel like my merits are supposed to take me as high as it go. And a lot of his supporters sometimes say a lot of outlandish things, but as far as his policies, like Medicare for all, that's one of my policies. Only I switched it up a bit with I call it universal health care, because I feel that there needs to be a public option, because you have a lot of homeless people that can't even go to the hospital to get checked out, all because they don't have a job. Why do I have to have a job for my welfare, my health to be taken care of?
Right.
However,
Canada did it.
Facts. However, we do live in a capitalist society. So, for example, if I'm like, if I know, I can go to the doctor, don't have to wait, and I just pay this nice little $20, $50.
Man, I'm going raw.
I'm gonna go rock it. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were about to say that.
I was like, whoa.
I said, don't do that.
No. Absolutely not. I heard you.
Don't say that with me.
Nah, I said I rock it. You know what I'm saying?
Set me up.
For the record, I said rock. I said I rock. For the record.
For the record, he said I rock it.
For the record. But like at the end of the day, when it comes to like healthcare, the costs need to be substantially lower, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people paying $500 for insulin. Like, that's ridiculous, man. Bro. This is like their lives on the line. Right. And they have to, like, spend a fortune. And this is the thing, like, this is why.
But anybody can get a Obama phone.
She put it to die.
Yeah,
way cheaper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, like, I hate that the pandemic has caused a lot of lives to be lost, but it's really shown us the truth about our nation. Like, our government dropped the ball. Like, one of my policies, and we might as well just segue into.
That's all I just want to ask you. So get the policy.
Yeah, so one of my policies, outside of universal health care, universal guaranteed income. And so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this is what
just talking about this today.
He was pushing the Freedom Dividend, but this ideology has been around for a long time, but MLK championed this as well. And this is why it's very important, because this would do well down here. But basically, Andrew Yang wants to give $1,000 as a Freedom Dividend. I want to make an increase because I feel like we need to come to some type of social agreement that no human being in this nation that's so abundant should live on the poverty line. So it just increases a little bit. But basically, with universal guaranteed income, you'll be paid out a specific amount, $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, a month for the rest of your life when you turn 18 years old. And the reason this is so good, such a good policy, and I pair it with universal health care, and I call it the people's bailout. And the reason I call it the people's bailout is because, just think about this for a second. If you knew that you're gonna have $1,200 or $1,300 coming in every month, not to mention that you have access to lower or free healthcare costs, you make better decisions for yourself at that time.
Yeah.
Say, for example, you hate your job. You hate your job, and you know for a fact you're gonna get money coming in. You're like, man, I ain't really gotta do this.
Yeah.
But check this out, for the black community, we can all pull our resources. Guess what? It's 5 of us at the table. That's $5,000 for us to put towards anything we want to.
Facts.
And then if it fails, guess what? It's coming right back next month.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
New
saying?
business plan.
Absolutely.
You know what they can put it to?
Right.
What's that?
A drive-in comedy show.
It's going down
At the
Summer Series, socially distanced comedy and movie show.
Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen. So
That was amazing.
are there any other policies we ain't want to hit? Hey, it's been dope talking to you first and foremost.
I want to know more about this marijuana reform.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is there more different policies?
Term limits. Term limits is very important. I feel like for me to do what I need to do, it's going to take me 5 terms to 10 years, and then I'm moving on to the next office. We have like career politicians that are in office that have been basically getting fed all on the backs of us as people. And another thing with term limits is that's so important to me is because you need to revitalize the node of democracy with the people. Right now, we're supposed to be a democratic nation, being able to decide our fate, but we don't be able to decide our fate. It's often because of the classist ideals that are found within our nation. The rich get to decide things for us, and that's not right. Let's see, man. I got so many other policies, but I don't want to like get into. But those are my top 3, which is important. Also, marijuana legalization. Like I think that. Let me add on to that. I want to legalize hemp as well. You legalize hemp.
Come on now.
You legalize hemp. It opens up.
A lot of industries.
Yeah.
Hemp is legal here, I thought.
No.
That's crazy.
CBD is.
But hemp.
You can't even make no pants in Georgia. That's hemp.
I guess I'm wrong.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I thought they
it's not you,
legalized
brother.
Because if it was, think about it. If hemp was legal
in
here,
gas stations.
Be a Home Depot, nigga.
Straight up, CBD got legal. I started seeing it in the gas station immediately.
So if hemp
They gonna capitalize.
We wouldn't have to. It would like basically end deforestation. You wouldn't need like to cut down trees for paper and everything. It's a cheaper but stronger material than a lot of papers. Like hemp just makes sense on a.
Hemp is the reason marijuana is illegal.
Yeah.
So that lets you know that why you need to bring it back up.
Yes.
They was losing too much.
It's economically, it makes sense. You know, and that's not, like a lot of my policies just make sense on like what's best for the people, what's best for the greater good of everybody. Because it's like at the end of the day, as much as I care about the progress of my people, as a congressman, I have to worry about a whole six-figure people in this district. And I feel like, and I've always said this since the beginning of my run, people have to understand that anything that's good for black people is going to be automatically good for the rest of the nation. because just how the racial hierarchy is when it comes to wealth, when it comes to social justice and everything. If you lift up the bottom, everybody else is gonna go up too.
Right.
That's why
it's the
no
trickle up, man.
Yeah,
Ronald Reagan. Trickle down.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no. The only thing that's trickled down are the problems. Coronavirus happened. Who instantly, in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks.
Asymptomatic.
Come on, man.
Poor people.
Poor people, minorities.
So we had a few more questions for you. Go. What district again? Are you
District
running?
5.
District 5. All right,
Yes.
District 5. And
You real live distinguished gentleman.
That's fucked up because the question that I was gonna ask was, when you cut me off,
hey, welcome to the show.
was what,
Right, your first show? Come on.
if anything,
You felt the
have you taken from the underrated Eddie Murphy movie, Distinguished
Hey,
Gentleman?
he only 32, man. He ain't
You
seen
ain't never
that.
seen Distinguished Gentleman?
Fuck no.
You can't be a black man running for Congress and not see
Well, we gotta put
Distinguished
him on
Gentleman.
to it. You can't talk to him like that.
Come on now, he got a curly
know if
box.
you can
He has
stream that.
seen Distinguished
Just
Gentlemen.
a curly
No. That's a dream of mine.
Nah, but no, seriously, Eddie Murphy was in Distinguished Gentleman. He actually had the same hairstyle. Yeah, he was running for president. Yeah.
No, he was running for Congress.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
He did it. He never showed his face. He
Yeah.
went to them old people and was like, what was his name?
Yeah, he didn't want to know he was
his name,
black.
but
His name. He didn't let him know
He
he
was,
was
yeah,
black, and he
it
got
was a
it.
congressman that was the incumbent that died,
Okay.
and they had the same name. And so he just ran as if he was him.
If he
What
was
year
in
did this
it,
come
yeah.
out?
This came out in probably
90 something.
It was after Boomerang.
Yeah, he was learning how to dribble, y'all.
He was in
It
third grade.
wasn't. It wasn't.
He was outside right hand, left hand at that time,
But
guys.
if you do, you should have campaign curl sponges.
Boy, that'd be hard. Ronnie's the king of merchandising, so if you want to put one in the campaign,
Barrington on him?
boy, what? Let me
should
get
be
that. Let me get that.
While you're thinking, you're thinking.
But this is the thing though. Because
You on your dean.
I don't have to use a sponge though. That's why like.
Well, he's saying to put it out there, like,
Come
black men be using sponge.
Who uses curl sponge?
Hey, man.
Us.
Hey, I do. That's how you get these.
Not me.
I'm a curl sponge. I sponge.
I don't use shit
Both
myself.
of the congressmen with the same hair like your ass.
I do be walking by the curl sponges like,
Go straight to the beard oil.
Straight to the beard.
straight up. Nah, we appreciate your time, man,
Man, I
for sure, man.
appreciate y'all,
Thank you
man.
for
Real
coming
talk.
through. Is there one last thing that you want to make sure that you say to anybody that may watch this or watch this in the future that you need to let them know about yourself?
Absolutely. The primary, is next week, next Tuesday. So a week and a day from today. Due to the pandemic, I don't ask anybody for money. I disagree with that because everybody's struggling. Everybody's trying to make their ends meet. However, all I ask is that you tell 5 people about me. Give me 5 initiatives. So if you like what I'm saying, if you like my policies, if you like anything that I stand for, and you believe that there could be a better future for all of us, tell 5 people about me, and then make sure each of them tell 5 people about me.
Well, there it is. You know I am, man.
Trickle up.
We about to be posting you, man.
Vote for the dude who look like Nate Robinson.
Hopefully you get to pull up on June 6th with us at the Summit.
Yeah,
Center.
definitely,
Talk to
definitely,
people.
definitely.
I'm gonna be there.
We'll give you a chance to talk to everybody
Appreciate it,
that's there,
appreciate
man.
it.
We would love to have you. Thank you.
Make sure
it. I'll
you
be there,
come.
man.
And are we gonna end it how we normally end it?
Oh yeah, man, we can. So
You want to do 2?
huh?
You know we filming again after this.
Oh no, yeah, I got one.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah, we normally do this. I ain't got shit.
Sometimes it be like that.
Sometimes it don't be shit.
So, but yeah. So we like to end the show with a segment we call Secret Genius Life Coach, where I give the people some words of wisdom. Get through the week, get to the next episode. I am Kamal, the Secret Genius, and the words of the week are this. These words actually come from Bob Marley by way of Haile Selassie. Those words are this. Until the philosophy that holds one man superior and another inferior are finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. And that's all I got.
Fight the power.
Real.
That's
was
real,
nice,
bro.
That's dope.
I'll vote for Barrington.
Barrington.
Yeah.
Come see him in person.
Let's get a flick.
Yo, Tyler got that same.
Everybody on live.
He got short sleeve. He got
More Than Culture is the brand. This is the podcast. Kamal, the Secret Genius, Remo Rod, Tyler Chronicles, Ronnie Jordan. Special guest, Barrington Martin the
We're
second.
go ahead and call him Congressman.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start calling
A distinguished
Congressman. You got my
gentleman.
vote, brother. I ain't gonna lie,
The distinguished gentleman from Atlanta.
My research consists of
We
single
out.
black. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
Single black, yeah.